Jukka prepare.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Michele. I'm from Italy originally, but I live in south of France, close to Nice. And I work with ETSI, which is the standardization organization for telecommunication in Europe. So I hope I haven't bored you to death already. Standards typically are boring, and it's pretty late in the evening, so I try to I'll try to make it, let's say, livable. I work in a team called the Center for Testing and Interoperability. So we deal with testing issues for the standards that are developed at ETSI. Now, I know what you're asking yourselves. So who cares about the standards, right? So probably you know this object, right? This is the clear sign that standardization has failed, right? I mean, in more than 100 years, we were not able to have one power socket type all around the globe. And that's why these providers of this kind of tools are making a lot of money. Now, if about electronic, we are still at this stage, can you imagine when we are talking about telecommunications? Let's take the mobile networks. If you remember in the 90s, if you moved to the United States, you probably should have bought a different phone, a different SIM card, and paid a lot of money to call back Europe, and the other way around if you were coming from America. So the standards try to address this issue, and ETSI is one of the founding partners of the 3GPP partnership project, where the different generations of mobile networks have been specified. And as you may see in this picture, you know, with every new generation, we are able to support more and more services, right? So, okay, we are not perfect. We couldn't solve all the standardization issues, but more and more services with less costs and more efficiency are available in the world. So this has an impact. Now, how does standardization work? So there is a situation. There are 14 competing standards over certain technologies. And somebody says, that's ridiculous. We need to have one universal solution to that, right? One new, let's say, fits-all solution. So the outcome is we now have 15 new competing standards. So if you don't know this website, I'm pretty sure you know, but if you don't know it, look it up, XKCD. And this is so true. This is really so true. Now, what's the point then? We try to converge. We try to get people together, to put them around the table, to put them on web conf calls, and to let them discuss how they can actually interoperate among them. So ETSI is a membership-driven organization. It's a no-profit organization like the Robot Framework Foundation. We are driven by our members. We are supported by our members, and we, as part of the Secretariat, we work for them in their interests. We have members from all over the world, from small companies to big organizations, and also research institutes, governments, police departments around the globe, and so on and so forth. Now, why do we care? Sooner or later, our cars are going to talk to each other. That's probably a fact. And we will probably be too distracted watching Chile or Netflix, and we will not be able to control what's going on, right? And they will talk over a certain type of standards. So we do need that the standards enable technologies that are safe, that are working, that are secure, and also that enable business, right? Because you all have a business here, and it's important that we enable that as well. Well, having the specification sometimes is not enough. So you have a very nice spec, but maybe it doesn't work as it goes. Now you say, okay, you do have the standard, right? So just use the standards. But if you know the coding standards, you know that they arrive only until a certain point. Therefore, what do we do in a standardization organization? We come up with specification techniques that help people writing correct standards. One of these is called ASN1. It's an ISO standard, and if you have ever been touched by that, I'm really sorry. Please come see me later at the after party. But we also have people who like it. That's good. So in ETSI, we do have a group called MTS, Methods for Testing and Specifications. We're actually testing vendors and testing users and testing service providers, have developed some testing standards, some of which are the TTCN3 language, which is a language who makes a great job in testing communication protocols. We have now a more recent standard called the TDL, Test Description Language, and we also have our own conference to which you are all invited, called the UCAT, User Conference on Advanced Automated Testing. Also, we try to make available our tests, right, written in those standards for our technologies through, for example, a set of repositories that we have in a Git fashion. And I'm happy to announce that since recently, we also develop some of our test cases in Robot itself and using the open APIs, making use of the great REST instance library using the mock server and the Robot Framework library to support it. And this is becoming now more and more used into the NFV and Mac communities, so network function virtualizations and edge computing technologies. So if you're into those kind of things, I invite you to go and look at these. Now, the standards are nice. We do have the standards, but sometimes also the tests are broken. So what do? You just throw some money at it. And just as we were reminded this morning, we do have funded activities. So we are always looking for expertise in testing. So I'm happy to meet all of you because we need good testers that come and help us improving our tests and fixing them when they're broken. But that's not enough, because sometimes not only the tests are broken, also the specification is broken. If you make a picture of it and you send it into an Excel file over email to a guy who prints it, probably he will not be able to read it. So we also have events where you can come with your testing tools and meet the people who provide the technology, and therefore, let's say, align the standardization with the implementations more and more. This is our open source Mano project, who also makes use of the Robot Framework language for their CI/CD pipelines, and this has been really successful. I invite you to go there. And with that, I just thank you, and I just invite you to always think about interoperability when you develop and when you design your code, because it's true that the world is big. We don't need one solution to fit everything, but we will need more and more to interwork with people around the globe, so interoperability is an issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Michele. Thank you. Is Jukka Rauhala here?